conversation with a friend, and it sparked something that I said I wanted to talk about. It's a little different from where I was going, but it's in league with what we're going to talk about, which is life choices. Now, I want to focus on the why. Why persons make the choices they do, and what are the influences that can lead them to making these choices. Now, we had mentioned in our first video, which I hope you guys have by now subscribed to my channel, liked and shared and have commented. And for those of you who have, I want to thank you so much for the support. So please continue to spread and share so that we can build together. Okay, so the topic of what are the different things that can influence us and the choices we make. So we had said in my first video about parents, the decisions of parents, and how we have to end up living with the consequences and the repercussions of their decisions for the things that they decide to do. Self-esteem, and linking up to our last video about the mindset. Now, it's very important as parents. We have to understand the role that we play. We are pretty much influencers. Our children come here predestined. They come here with personalities. They come here with plans that God has already placed inside of them. We are just supposed to be the nurturers and helping to steer them in the correct direction so that they can become the fullness of whoever they're supposed to be. Now, that requires us to get to know our children. There used to be the pattern of children should be seen and not heard. I think years of experience and years of realizing that that method doesn't work, because children are not just dummies. They come here with minds, and they are very intelligent beings, and if we only deal with them as such, they will develop much more quickly. Now, a lot of the decisions we make come from foundational things that we are taught as children. Children live what they see. That's a very real thing. We become adults who were children who were taught and fed different beliefs, and these are the things that inform the way we think, the way we operate, the friends we choose, the businesses, the jobs we go into, the businesses we open, and the decisions we make, the relationships we go into, the things we tolerate, the things we set boundaries on. All of those things come from the foundation that we get as children and the persons we allow to influence us and speak into us. So as parents, not just parents, but just people, if you are a person who has access to or is involved in the lives of children, teachers, doctors, nurses, from in the education field, parents, just being out in public every single day, you are an influencer one way or another. An aunt, an uncle, a grandmother, a grandfather, whoever you are an influencer one way or another. And you can be a good influence or a bad influence. And all of that forms and informs the mindset of the child that becomes an adult, that makes the decisions they do. So there was a clip that I had posted and someone commenting on it about this older woman talking about how she has been treated by men all her life, and his comment was it took her very long to figure out that these men didn't mean her any good. So I was expressing to him that you have to bear in mind what her emotional state was, what her self-esteem, and what the beliefs are that were fed to her as a child for her to have taken that long, or for her to have accepted and tolerated the mistreating of men, or what we are taught what love looks like and what it means. So we accept and tolerate less than we deserve because we are taught to believe that the fact that a man is even looking at you, or the fact that a man is even paying attention to you as a woman, that's a goal. That's You should be appreciative of it, and you should be silent and just accept whatever it is, especially if that man has money and has means. That was the philosophy that was embedded coming from way back when, not just in the minds of slaves, but in just women in general. That women should, their place should just be in the kitchen and running the home. They don't have an opinion, they don't have a voice, and therefore they should just be silent and just the fact that this man is taking care of you, shut up and deal with whatever he throws at you. Again, thank God for the evolution of thought. Unfortunately, that mindset is still very much active. I do believe that a man is put here to run his household, to be the leader of his household, and a woman should be a submissive. A submissive does not mean silent with no thought, no opinion, no. It takes a strong woman to be a submissive woman, because I have to make that decision to trust you, to trust your leadership. And submission does not mean blind following. It means that you have to prove yourself as somebody who I deem as trustworthy to lead my family. And your vision and your goals and the things that you have, your destiny, is worth aligning mine with, which is where the Bible talks about being unequally yoked. That's another conversation. For me to trust you and follow and walk with you, that's what it means to be submissive. Not mean that I should be taken advantage of. Does not mean that I don't have a voice. It does not mean that I can't say to you, hey, what you're doing right now don't make no sense. Maybe we need to go in a different direction. And if you are not man enough to trust your woman, or trust the person you have deemed as a partner, and then you shouldn't be in that relationship either. So it's a two-way street. And again, it goes back to the mindset that has been taught, and hence the decisions we make, and hence the relationships we get into, and hence the things that pretty much unravel and become our lives with the daily choices we make. So I wanted to talk more on the importance of the psychological and the emotional attention that's paid to children. Ensuring academics is great. Academics is absolutely great and absolutely necessary, but you can have a academically solid child who has no self-esteem, who has no self-worth, who has no idea what it means to set boundaries, to be valued, to be appreciated. And so this child can be at the top of their class academically, but socially they are not dealing at all, which is why you have so many suicides and depression in children at much younger ages now, because that individuality is not being fostered and fed positively with the right mindset and the right values. And I mean, yes, social media has a lot to do with it, but it starts with what we allow as parents, what we allow as the what they call it now, the generations that are ahead, to become what are the traditions that we allow to pass down, and the beliefs that we allow to be perpetuated in the generations to come. And we continue these generational habits that are damaging us and our children. So there needs to be a stock taking of the things that we realize that work and that don't work, and discard of the things that don't work, perfect the things that do, and build up the additional things that we need to put in place to do it right. For me, I take building my children up, their self-esteem, their self-worth, appreciating who they are irrespective of the noise, very seriously. Now, where the academics are, I believe if you have a confident child, they will excel at whatever they put their minds to. But if the only time they get praised, or the only time they get appreciated, is if they get a good grade, or if they do exactly what you say, and they don't challenge you, and they don't have an opinion, and you are teaching that child that their voice is not valued. You are teaching that child that they are not worth more than a grade on a paper. You are teaching this child that they are not worth more to you than the academics or the tasks that you set out to them. They have to earn your love. You are setting a very dangerous precedent, because when they leave your home, or when they have to interact with other persons, that's the same way they're going to expect and look for other persons to treat them, and then they're going to be taken advantage of. And then other persons are going to look on and be like, she never know better, or he never know better. No, because that's not what they were taught. That's not what was fostered in them. They were taught that you have to get my love and appreciation, you have to perform some kind of grand task, or you have to become someone or something else for me to appreciate you. Who you are is not enough. The person you are, the value you bring is not enough. That's what they have been taught. So then when they go out into the world, that's what they know, and that's what they accept. And there are persons who identify that, prey on that, and then use and abuse them. So you have persons in relationships for years that is toxic, completely toxic. But that's what they've been taught. That's what they have seen their mothers put up with. The cheating and the lying and the abuse and the verbal, physical, emotional abuse, and they accept that as that is a reality. But there is always something inside of us that, goes off. But if you have nothing to combat that, or if you have nothing to, or no one to help you deprogram and change that mindset and change that outlook, then you perpetuate that cycle, even though there is something inside of you that disdains it. Which is why you have the repeat of abuse, where boys see their fathers abusing their mothers, and they are repulsed by their fathers because their fathers did that, but then go into relationships as adults and do the same thing to their women, because that's the only way they know love, or that's the only way they know to express their emotions, because that's what they saw their father do, and that's what they saw their mother accept. So it's the decision on both ends, because he can do it, that don't mean you have to accept it. So, and then you now teach that child that I'm not in control of what someone else does, I'm in control of what I do, and in control of what I tolerate and accept. And by making the decision to walk away from the situation, or take myself out of the situation, I have taken back my power. So that is something I'd love for us to talk about. I'd love to get you guys' feedback on it. But that goes back to the foundation of the choices that we make and the situations that we find ourselves in, and how we can now become more mindful of the things that we speak into the lives of our children, speak into ourselves, the persons and the music and the movies and the things that we allow to influence us and infiltrate our minds and our self-value. And my friend was also saying that you must seek validation from above. That's true, but who is there who's going to teach you that that's where you're supposed to go and seek that validation? Who's going to teach you that you are supposed to believe the promises and the ways and the words that God has spoken over you? That is what you're supposed to accept, not the tangible people who are supposed to love you, the parents that brought you here, the family members that brought you here. How do you tell that child, go and seek your validation from above, when the persons who are in your lives have never introduced you to the person who is up above, or to that power, that higher power, whatever you want to call it, God, Spirit, whatever I call him, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ. It can take you a while to figure that out and to get there, because as I said, there's that thing inside of us that knows when something is just wrong. But if you have nothing to combat that, and if that becomes your truth, it is very hard to make the decision to not accept it. It's very hard to believe that you are worth more. It's very hard to believe that you are I shouldn't accept this. So thank you again for joining me this week. I would really love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear your opinions, your thoughts. Share your comments with me. Again, thank you for coming and joining me on Purple Conversations. It was a fun conversation. We will continue this because this goes way deep, right? Again, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and go to my GoFundMe, donate, share the link so that we can build together. Have an awesome week and influence someone positively today. If that person is yourself, then do that. Go to the mirror and speak only positivity, only life to yourself. For life and death is in the power of your tongue. Have a wonderful week. See you next time on Purple Conversations. Bye.